Hello, my name is Lauren Layfield, and this is Your Next Podcast, the podcast which creates a brilliant list of shows for you to try, adding a new one every single week. In Things People Do, Tom Fordyce and Joe Marler meet astronauts, teachers, marine biologists, which was something that I always wanted to do, cheesemakers, which is still something I want to do, prison guards and everyone in between, and find out, well, what they do. As the boys say, everyone is interesting if you ask the right questions, and that definitely includes beekeepers, as you'll find out in this episode.
This is a crowd podcast.
So what you're saying to me and Joe is that there is a giant bee nightclub in the sky where the males shag their mum.
No, they don't shag their mum.
Hi, I'm Joe Marler.
And I am Tom Fordyce.
And this is Things People Do.
Some people do amazing things on this show. We meet zookeepers, politicians, astronauts.
And some people who do other things, like recruitment,
cheesemakers,
drainage engineers.
Because everyone is interesting if you ask the right questions.
See, I used to hate people, but this podcast has changed me. It's taught me stuff, and now I can't get enough of people and the weird and wonderful things they do.
Okay, so your bone is a bit like a Cadbury's Crunchy.
The guy with a toilet brush stuck up his bum gave a fantastic story.
I have been caught Tipp-Exing a customer's car.
Are you a robot, Lydia?
Well, how would you know?
Kestrels used to be called wind fuckers.
And we won't stop until we've met absolutely everybody.
On the show today...
I'm Emma and I'm a beekeeper.
You're going 100 miles an hour and I cannot keep up with this.
So,
What's this coming out?
Oh my God. It's been on my mind. Did I kill them?
Yeah.
What?
Don't tell me that you don't fear the prolapse.
I fear the prolapse.
Whenever they ejaculate, they die.
We all feel like that sometimes.
Oh, brilliant. I've always wondered why a bee dies when it stings you.
Yeah, and how do they decide which one becomes the queen?
Well, why don't we find out? Welcome to Things People Do. Hello, Emma the beekeeper. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
So you're a beekeeper, are you?
I am.
You keep bees?
I do. I look after them.
Like bzzz.
Yeah, like the ones that sting you.
We're buzzing for this, aren't we, Joe?
Yeah.
Oh, it's going to be one of those episodes, is it?
I'm going to keep saying that all the way
Have you got all these lined up? Oh, for
You're gonna have to
fuck's
find
sake. Right, Emma, when did you become a beekeeper?
It was about 10 years ago and it was like a complete accident. I wasn't really interested in bees, had no interest in them whatsoever, had never really thought about them. And actually, whenever I think about it, I had never seen a honeybee and knew that it was a honeybee until about 10 years ago. And then it just all happened. And
Okay,
it just,
we will get into that
Yeah.
because you just said honeybee as if like there's different bees.
oh, there's different bees.
Oh my God.
I know. I know.
But 10 years ago you started keeping bees.
Yeah.
Forgive me. You'll have to.
Okay.
Because I've got this stereotype of
You are-
beekeepers
well-
in my mind.
And most of that's true.
And you turned up at the studio and I went, who's that then? Because you don't look like
I
the
know.
stereotypical beekeeper.
I'm not the stereotypical bee.
So is that part of it, as in you make quite a considered effort to be non-stereotype beekeeper, or that's just you and
That's
you just
just
like
me.
keeping bees?
That's just me, and I like keeping bees. I'm like the Sinead O'Connor of beekeeping.
When you say you didn't expect Emma to look like she does, do you mean that she's not wearing like a massive white
I'm not
outfit
85.
with netting across her face and big thick white gloves?
I didn't expect her to come in a uniform. My stereotype of a beekeeper is 55
Okay, quite specific.
plus,
Okay, less specific.
long hair, like really long sort of unkept hair.
Why long hair?
Thin hair.
Yeah, quite thinning, but lovely. Not because not really bothered, like because they're more bothered about the bees.
Like a hippie.
Yeah, a bit hippie-ish.
Yeah.
And like dirty fingernails.
Why dirty?
Like-
Outdoors?
Because they're working outdoors a lot. All of which is not you.
I'm so glad that
Oh.
I didn't hit any of those stereotypes.
Okay.
I've got a question for you early on, Joe. Are you a bee man or a wasp man?
I think I'd probably go bee. They strike me as more cuddly and more cute. Like, oh, I could have a bee as a friend.
Less aggressive?
Yeah, what?
Well, there's a story why wasps are so aggressive. And actually wasps are really, really important. And the wasps that we see, like the ones that like hang around in the beer gardens and stuff there. There's lots of different species of wasps, but they're like the only social wasp that we have. So they like colonise like bees in the sense that they have a queen and they have workers and whatever. But the wasps are about from early spring until sort of late autumn.
Where do they go in between?
They all die out.
So there's literally no alive wasps in winter?
They leave behind mated queens. So the worker wasps, the wasps that you see and the wasps that sting you are female. And same with bees. So male bees don't sting. It's only female bees. But what happens with the wasps are the worker wasps can only eat a regurgitated substance. So they pollinate. The worker wasps pollinate. And they collect nectar and eat all of the green fly and aphids and all of the little bugs, absolutely, that kill your plants. So they eat all of those. They bring them, they get those little bugs and nectar and stuff, bring it back to the nest, which is like an onion-shaped kind of thing, and paper, made of paper.
Actual paper?
Well, that's how paper was discovered.
What?
Yeah.
Fucking hell. You're going 100 miles an hour and I cannot keep up with this.
Sorry.
It's made of paper?
Yeah.
And that's how paper was discovered?
Yeah,
I thought the Egyptians
mulch.
discovered paper.
No, I think it was the Chinese. I could be wrong.
Right, well...
I think it was the Chinese.
Don't trust Joe on this one, really, honestly. Are you not thinking of bed sheets for the Egyptians?
The Egyptian god.
Stop it.
So the worker wasps, they collect the nectar and the green flies and stuff, bring it back. They feed it to the larva. The larva regurgitate a substance and feed, and that's how the worker wasps eat. So whenever, at the end of the season, whenever they start becoming nuisances, it's because the queen has died, the colony has collapsed, there's no more larvae, so they've not got any more food.
So that's where they come for our larvae?
Yes. They've got no queen, nothing to do, and they've nothing to eat, so that's whenever they become nuisances. So I always say to people, do not kill wasps before August.
After August, play on?
Fine. Work away.
Let's get back to bees, shall we? Do you keep your own bees? Have you got like...
Yeah, so I've got 2 different apiaries, which is, an apiary is the place. So beekeeping is an apiarist. Yeah,
a what?
Well, an apiarist. AP, I'm dyslexic, so I always find this difficult. APIARIST. So it's, it's the keeping of bees is apiarism. Maybe that word may not exist.
I like it. So an apiary is what we think of as a hive. It's one of those sort of white things with multiple layers and trays that come out of it.
Do you know, that I was watching a Netflix thing recently and there was hives on it and they had beautiful hives like that. That's not what we live.
Is that the Beckham one?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's just perfect. I wish it looked like that, but it doesn't.
So that's not true?
Well, and I think in that world it maybe is.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and some beekeepers
Nicely
do have lovely, beautiful hives, but basically, so an apiary is a collection of hives. Oh. So a beehive is where they live, and a collection of beehives is an apiary. That's where your apiary is. So I have 2 different apiaries. At the minute I have 14 different hives, but I lost quite a few hives to pesticide. Poisoning a wee while ago, so I did lose quite a lot of hives, so we're kind of building it back up again.
A hive is just like a tray, is it?
It's basically a box, so there's a brood box.
Yeah.
And it's called different things in different parts of the world. The Americans call it something different, but we call it a brood box. I think they call it a deep. And that is where the brood lives, so it'll be the queen and all of the eggs and larvae and all of the worker bees and drones, but drones are male, but they're only there if you at certain times of the year because men don't really do anything in the honeybee world.
Cal Surprise, yeah.
Interesting
They
the way
just
you've
mate
said that
and
sentence
die.
and then sort of looked at me and Tom as if like...
Well, it's quite funny though.
Fuck you.
Yeah. Because one of the really interesting things about worker bees is that they tell the queen when she needs to lay an unfertilised egg, and the unfertilised egg is the male's. The male is a genetic copy of the queen, but they're only required for like the mating season, which would be kind of, mid-spring to late summer, and then whenever the mating season is over, the worker bees get all of the men, all of the drones, and they fire them out the front door, and they're like,
what?
You're not getting back in again, and they all die of exposure.
What? So hang on. So the male bee is literally there for stud purposes.
Yeah.
And pretty much when his work is done and the seed is sown, he's booted out the family home and dies.
Well, if a seed's sown, he explodes in the air.
What? Sorry. He explode. What? Have you never seen an exploding bee? Have you ever seen an exploding bee?
Are we talking like they actually explode, or is that a way of saying ejaculation?
Well, they kind of, yeah. They.
Is that what you?
Well, whenever they ejaculate, they die. So they sorry, I said
We
that
all
quite
feel like that sometimes.
Really?
Most of us have a kit.
Hang on a
This
minute.
image in my face goes,
This is fucking wild. This is all over the place, mate. I just lost it. I've fucking
I
lost it.
don't know how we got from nice
So these
white beehives
bees,
to...
so these male bees, known as drones,
Yeah.
their one job is to mate.
Yes.
Okay. On my fact sheet here, I've got,
by fact sheet, you mean the things you've written down in your notepad.
that says at the top, bee facts.
The fact that you've called it a fact sheet is more of a fact than your fact sheet.
Anyway, so when they mate, why do they have to mate with a queen outside of the hive?
Because
Is that a thing?
Well, the queen in the hive will generally be their mother, unless the queen.
Hell is going on in these
Unless
hives?
unless the colony has requeened the hive and there's still drones there, but there's a new queen, in which case it wouldn't be. But for all intents and purposes, that the queen in the hive will be the drone's mum. They actually mate in what's known as a DCA, a drone collection or conservation. Anyway, a place in the sky where all of the drones go and all of the newly hatched queens go. And nobody knows. And they're everywhere, but every area will have its own little place. It's basically like a nightclub in the sky.
We need to go through this point by point. So,
How long is this episode going to be? Because, fuck, we haven't even got through, 4 questions and, right.
So, what you're saying to me and Joe is that there is a giant bee nightclub in the sky where the males shag their mum.
No, they don't shag their
and
mum.
once they've shot their load, they explode in midair.
Well, everything apart from the mom thing. Oh, but sometimes, there is a possibility that might happen. So the queen will mate with 15 or so different...
Over what time period?
She'll do a few different mating flights.
Is she flying while she's up there? They shag while they fly?
Yeah, on the wing. And that's why drones have bigger eyes and stronger wings, because they need to be really strong
How do they
do it.
How do they couple?
Yeah, because,
I think it's like a doggy style kind of thing.
Is it?
Yeah.
They're bees.
you can't do... Just picturing... I would be so bad as a drone bee because I could not shag in the air
How long could you stay up for?
with my arms flapping and trying to I couldn't. I'd be all out of rhythm.
No, but the issue is you're thinking of yourself with wings rather than a bee version of Joe. Because if you're a bee, Joe, your wings are amazing.
Yeah, they'll be really strong.
You're literally genetically designed to shag midair.
Oh.
You're thinking, if I were Joe and I was trying to shag midair, which is obviously much more difficult.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That makes more sense then. Talking of flying, did you know that honeybees' wing strokes 11,400 per minute?
Didn't know that.
Yeah,
It
and
doesn't even work as a sentence.
so that means
She's Googling. She's on the phone.
I'm not Googling, I'm using my calculator.
Okay.
That means they flap their wings, they stroke their wings 684,000 times an hour,
You're just going to keep timesing this by 24.
which means in a day, the fucking honeybees flap their wings 16,416,000 times a day.
Wow.
And often while shagging at the same time.
Surely they're exhausted.
Is this why they explode?
Maybe it is. Pure exhaustion. Right, I might, guys.
Right, how do we get back to some sort of
So we do
structure,
types of
normalcy
bee
of this?
because you've talked about honeybees. I didn't even know what drones were. So can we talk about the other types of bee, Emma?
That you've honeybees and you've got bumblebees.
Bless them. Love
Are they not the
I
same? Aren't
love
they
a
the same
bumblebee.
thing?
Well, bumblebees are they're the fat fuzzy ones.
But I like bumblebees.
Oh, bumblebees are awesome. I really like a bumblebee. Yeah. So I did, a couple of years ago, I rescued quite a lot of bumblebee hives. I had to stop it this year because we opened a shop anyway. Under
But
time.
what do they do? Or are they just bumbling about the place?
They're pollinators.
And a pollinator is someone that spreads pollen.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
There might be listeners like me that don't know what a pollinator is. Okay?
Why are bumblebees more charming? Is it because they literally look like they're a bit heavy? They're like, oh, I'm sorry, bumped into again. Ooh.
I think I read somewhere that they're technically they're not supposed to be able to fly because their bodies are so big and their wings are so small, but they do anyway.
Yeah, fair play, bumbles.
Yeah, I do and there's so many different types of bumblebees. So you'll get big, massive ones and little tiny ones, and then there's a cuckoo bumblebee, which is a bumblebee that is really a solitary bee. and pretends to be a non-solitary bee and then goes into other bumblebees' nests and kills a queen and then yeah.
So
But
they're
there's-
like a incel.
Yeah, they're
regicide
like
bees.
Yeah.
terrorists.
Oh my God.
Bumblebee
I
terrorists.
never saw that in a bumblebee. I always thought they were quite friendly and just a
Well,
bit
there's only a
hapless.
few cuckoos, cuckoo bumblebee species, not as many as the normal ones. But bumblebees, like wasps, they, whenever it comes to the end of the season, which will be slightly earlier for them, which is generally whenever autumn hits, they leave queens, mated queens behind. Their colony completely collapses, so everybody dies out apart from the newly mated queens who hibernate like in the ground. In the ground, yeah. And then as soon as the soil warms up, then sort of March, April time, the queen comes up and she's got all of her eggs, and then she starts the nest from complete scratch herself. So she will go out and forage, she will collect all of the, she'll make the wax, and then she'll collect all of the like bits and pieces that she makes her nest out of. And then she lays her first larva and she raises them, and then they take over and she just becomes an egg layer.
Who decides this queen? Is it bloodline? Is it?
It's genetics.
Yeah, they have a coronation ceremony, Joe, where, this ancient tradition is maintained. They put the crown on the head. She wears like an ermine gown.
Game of Thrones kind of style.
Sorry, enough of this ganging up shit. How is that a stupid question?
It's a good
A
question.
bloodline. The reason we got the royals,
Royals.
the human royals, is because of their blood, because their dads and their mums before them, and then before them, decided we're the queens and the kings of the land, and then only our offspring can be the princes and princesses and the queens and the It's a really fucking weird system, if I'm honest,
It is a
in this
little
day and age. But we're not here to slag the royals. I was just wondering if the bees had a
really-
better system.
They do,
Or,
yeah.
Oh, it is, okay.
It's a really, really good question. So honeybee terms, it's decided, so it'll always be a female egg. So the queen can lay a fertilised and an unfertilised egg. So the fertilised egg will be a female, which will either be a worker bee or potentially a new queen. And the unfertilised egg will be the male egg that we talked about before. So whenever it comes to deciding who's queen, the worker bees decide that. So they will get an egg, and I've started to breed my own queens this year, so it's a really, really interesting process. So the worker bees will they will decide that they need to have a queen for so many different reasons, but it could be that the old queen's run out of eggs, not maybe laying as well as she should have been. Or it could be because maybe the beekeepers accidentally cut her head off or something. What happened to me?
You've cut your head off?
Accidentally decapitated the queen, yeah.
Oh,
Then
I thought you said beekeeper had cut their head off.
yeah, well, the head of the queen, yeah.
Not-
the beekeeper have cut.
Right, not the
Subject
human.
and object.
Right.
What does the queen actually look like, Emma? Does it look like a big bee?
Yeah, she'll have
massive.
a distended like abdomen where all of the eggs are. So what the worker bees will decide.
Stop
right?
fucking looking at me with anything that's got a distended abdomen in the sentence, arsehole. Okay? Sorry. Get it out your system. I'm trying to learn about bees here, specifically honeybees, specifically the queen bees. Thank you, Emma.
So what will happen is, whatever the situation is that the colony have decided that they need a new queen, they will select an egg that the queen has laid. That egg that will be an egg for 3 days, and that will hatch into a larva. And at that point, the kind of 3-day mark, then they change that larva's diet to specifically royal jelly. I don't know if you've ever heard of royal jelly before, but that's what royal jelly is
I thought
for.
it was like a brand.
No, it's a substance that comes from the head of the worker bee.
Hang on. Is there ordinary jelly as well?
The larvae that aren't going to be queens, that would be workers, they will be like fed proteins and a little bit of royal jelly, but not as a pure diet of royal jelly as the queen will be. So because that egg has been fed that substance, that diet, then that becomes a queen bee. So the queen bee will be genetically different. She's got ovaries and she can lay eggs and things like that.
This is
It's
fascinating.
crazy.
I've got this image in my head, Joe, of like a courtier at the Queen's palace going, "Bring the royal jelly!" And someone brings in this wobbly jelly, like a sort of green one or an orange one.
Yeah.
And the Queen just tucks in.
With a spoon.
Probably, yeah.
What a ridiculous sentence.
Could humans eat royal jelly?
You can, yeah, and you can see it in the cell, in the queen cell. I've got some queen cells here if you want to see them.
Yes,
What do
please.
you mean queen cells?
You've got a bag of bees.
So this year I started breeding my own queen bees. Started a little bit last year, but...
Is there anything in this jam jar that's going to sting us?
It looks like pasta.
Oh, it also looks slightly
Like
like
a peanut.
a thimble, right? Let's pick this.
Right, so the
Is this a
plastic
real one?
bit isn't actually from... Obviously, that's...
Oh,
So what we're holding here, we've got a small yellow plastic aperture, and then we've got what looks like...
Could you pass me an aperture, please?
Yeah, and then we've got what looks like a small cone of, well, honeycomb.
So it's beeswax, and that is a cell cup that I grafted a larva into. So I create a situation in the hive that makes the colony think that they're queenless, and then I give them 3-day-old larvae, and because there's the absence of queen pheromone, because I've hidden her, I hide her at the bottom and put like a pheromone blocker in. And then I put in those little yellow cups, I put then little larvae that I graft out of cells. And then because of the situation that I've caused in the hive, then the worker bees automatically go into queen rearing mode, and they will then feed the larva royal jelly, and they will leave a big bit of royal jelly in the cell. That's a capped cell that didn't hatch, and that's a cell that did hatch.
Oh, so mine has got an open end,
Yeah, so
and Joe's is
queen-
still closed.
Joe's is still so I have never opened that.
Could there be something inside?
There's going to be a queen in there.
What, in the one that Joe's holding right by his face? A little baby queen princess?
She didn't hatch, she died. But I don't know what's in there because I haven't opened it.
Joe is
So I
holding
left.
the tomb of a queen.
It's a couple of months old, so it mightn't be the nicest. But you could have a look and see. You could open the...
What do you mean? There's something in it?
Yeah.
Like a Christmas present?
Yeah.
It's a dead queen.
Yeah.
It's a dead queen?
A dead queen in your hands. What, are you prepared for what you might
I
see?
don't know, I
here?
feel like I'm doing something... I feel
like
like...
Howard Carter in the tomb of Tutankhamun. You're breaking the tomb of the dead.
Yeah.
Hang on.
You smell death there? Or honey? Do you know what?
Are you sure I'm all right doing this?
Nothing's going to come out like a jack-in-the-box.
No, I don't.
It's just-
That's not what I mean. I feel like I'm
like a
doing something that's sacrosanct.
Sacred, yeah.
Sacred.
Yeah.
What sacrosanct mean?
Means that you shouldn't do it.
Okay, I'm going to break off the tip. I'm a little bit...
Is there a tomb in there? The tomb door.
I hope there is something in it. I'd be really disappointed if it was empty.
What are you pulling out?
well, I'm pulling out like... It looks like an empty sack.
Yeah.
No, so that bit's empty. Looks a bit like thingy.
So you've,
And then...
you're going to turn it on its end and tip it out. Yeah. Oh, what's this coming out?
Oh, my God.
It looks
got
like
my
something you've
glasses.
pulled out of your ear. Describe it to us, Joe.
Oh, my God. Yes, I will, yeah. It is a mouldy, tiny, unhatched bit of rock. Like, if I'm honest. I can definitely see... Hang on.
It's about 4 millimetres long by... don't ping it off.
It's
there.
hard. It's definitely got the formation of what would have been a queen. Would this have been a queen?
That would have been a queen. So they go through different, a bit like whenever a caterpillar turn into butterflies, they go through different molts. So she would have died in between sort of partially formed molt and the molt that at the end. So she's probably got knockout wings or something like that.
She hasn't. You're right. I'm just going to take a picture of her. Bless her heart.
Well, we need to
Do you
do...
want to name her?
Yeah.
What should we call her?
Something regal.
Queenie.
Camilla?
No, that's not a name,
Camilla?
is it? I was thinking Doris.
Doris, that's not a queen's name, is it?
Well, no, but she's dead, and it's easier to say dead Doris than it is dead Camilla. And I think that's a little bit disrespectful.
Yeah.
So, dead Doris, I'm going to tuck her back in
Into her sarcophagus.
to her sarcophagus. It's not the first time actually that I've experienced that. I had this box that I left outside. It was a flat pack of a kid's water thing for the garden. I didn't get around doing it, and then I saw loads of... I think they were wasps, not bees. How do I tell the difference again?
Well, a lot of people get honeybees and wasps mixed up. So honeybees they will look like wasps, but they will be like a darker colour, whereas wasps are very definite yellow and black.
There was like what looked like a hive formed inside this box. It was like flattened up against this box with different holes. And I took it out, and as I took it out, there was like, similar to this, it had like coverings over it, and there was about 5 or 6 that you opened it up, and they were either wasps or bees in them, dead.
Oh.
In like exactly what they've done there, like that. And I had like 5 or 6 of them, and I got the kids out to be like, oh, come look at this.
Like little small like wax cups.
Yeah.
It sounds like bumblebee, like a species of bumblebee.
Oh,
It's been on my mind. Did I kill them?
Yeah.
What?
unbelievable.
If I'd have left them, they'd have been okay. Oh, fucking hell. Emma.
The kids enjoy it at least.
Fucking, yeah, they did. It's really fascinating, but now... Right, we're going to have a quick break. We're going to buzz off.
Not very good.
Not good.
Right, this episode is sponsored by, well, I would walk 500 miles. It's Darren Mile. To be more like Darren, go to patreon.com/thingspeopledo, become an official sponsor, get bonus content, and grow the show today.
You know, with the queens, can they abdicate?
What do you mean? So can they not
Well,
become
can they
queens?
renounce one's throne?
Well, the worker bees often renounce them.
Like a revolution.
So they will. It's called supersedure. So they will sack her off. Basically, they'll smother her to death or hotball her. So
Hotballer.
hotball.
They will hotball the queen.
Yeah. So they'll gather all around the queen
What?
and smother her, suffocate her.
We shouldn't be laughing at that. But fuck me, these bees are ruthless.
They are ruthless.
Quite deviant, aren't they?
So they just go, what? She's a shit queen, let's get a new one.
Superseder, yeah, that happens all the time. So a couple of queens that I grafted early on in the season. So I was going to say, like, the other thing that can happen with queens is if they're queenless and they've only got a larva that's maybe like 4 days old, which is really too old for them to turn into a proper queen, they will still do it, but what they'll get is a bee or a queen that's in between worker and queen. It's like intercaste. So in that case, that queen would only be good for a very short period of time and they would sack her off and supersede her. So whenever the queen lays her first couple of eggs, they will use those eggs at the earlier stage and turn those into proper queens. But the queens also kill each other. So whenever a colony...
What's going on in these hives?
Say they're superseding the queen, they will draw out a couple of queen cells because they'll never leave themselves with just one option. The first queen to hatch, she will locate the other queen cells and sting through the side of the wall.
See off her rivals.
See off her rivals. And probably have got a queen cell in there somewhere that's been torn down at the side, and that's how you know.
It's like Queen Elizabeth getting rid of Mary Queen of Scots.
So we have to put cages around the queen cells to make sure that doesn't happen. So we will put queen cages on the cell. So you'll have that peanut-shaped cell with something that looks like a hair roller around it.
Like a
And
sting-proof sheath.
It's yeah. So that if you have 10 queen cells, you'll get 10 queens rather than one queen and 9 dead.
Let's talk honeys, Joe.
Yeah.
Are you a honey fan?
Love it.
Favourite honeys? Do you like... All right.
Runny.
You like a runny over a set?
Well, I thought set's bad. I thought set is bad because I usually get runny honey, local as well, because apparently that's good to
Nice touch.
have it. No, for your immunity.
Is it?
Apparently it's good to have the local bees. In fact, no, whilst we're on it, the Manuka honey situation, is that a load of bollocks? Because they charged me 20 quid for a pot of Manuka honey when I could get one for 3 quid.
I wouldn't be buying £3 Manuka. I wouldn't be buying £3 any honey, but £3 Manuka honey isn't going to be 100% Manuka. Honey's one of the most faked foods in the world.
Is it?
Yeah.
Fuck. But then, so back to the honey that I usually get in the pot, and then if I've left it in the cupboard, it then starts going from clear to crystallised, is it? Or something like that. And then it's harder to spread, but still tastes incredible. I just think it's going mouldy.
No.
But you can buy it like that.
Well, honey will naturally crystallise because honey is made up of lots of different nectars which have lots of different sugar crystal sizes. So for instance, at home we're a little bit colder and our nectar, so if we have nectar from rapeseed, you know, we see those big yellow fields. Rapeseed's a very, very thick nectar, so that will crystallise almost straight away, which is where you would get your set honey. Whenever the honeybees collect the honey, in each cell they don't mix nectar, so every cell of the frame will have 100% whatever nectar they've collected in it. They won't mix that, but whenever the beekeeper extracts the honey, obviously all of that mixes. So what you'll find is, you know, a honey that's maybe made up of slightly looser nectar and some thicker nectar, and then you'll get like a multi-layers of crystallization, but don't put it in the fridge because it'll always crystallize in that.
So never put honey in the fridge?
No, you don't need to. It's a fermented food, so it's completely okay to keep out of the fridge. It lasts forever.
So how is honey actually made?
So the forager bees go out and collect the nectar. Forager bees are worker bees at the very end of their life, because the last job that the worker bees do, the female worker bees do, is forage and collect the nectar and bring it back. They've got lots of other jobs within the hive before that. So there's maybe 60,000 bees in a hive. The foragers go out and they will find a patch of nectar and they will bring that nectar back. And whenever they bring that nectar back, nectar is 80% water, 20% sugar.
How do they bring it back?
They carry it. They've got like a stomach that they
So
suck
they
it up.
like suck it up.
Yeah, they've
in
got
the
a
mouth.
proboscis. Yeah, they've got a long tongue. So they suck
Oh,
it
it's
up.
a tongue.
It's a proboscis, and they suck
So they
it up.
stick it out.
Suck
So
it
it
up.
goes. And they just keep going.
Yeah.
What sort of level of compared to their body ratio? How much can they carry?
Not very much. Like I think I read before. I've read it a few times. I haven't cross-checked it, but I think it is true that one honeybee will collect a teaspoon of honey in their whole life.
In their life?
Yeah.
And how long's their life?
Well, 30 to 40 days.
In 40 days.
But that
they need
said,
to fucking work harder.
But that said, they're only foraging for maybe the last 7 days of their life. So I don't know whether that's been factored into that equation or whether that's just a very kind of broad spectrum.
Only a teaspoon.
But not very much.
So what happens when they bring the nectar back?
So they bring the nectar back and they put it into the honeycomb, the little cell that they've made with beeswax. One of their jobs will be to flap their wings at the cell, and that will dehydrate the honey from 20% sugar, 80% water to 80% sugar, 20% water. And then they cap it off with a beeswax cell, with a beeswax cap. And then that's it. And they save that for a rainy day.
What's the purpose of that honey for them? Is that for them to survive?
Yeah, it's for them. Because honeybees don't die off. So bumblebees only need a little bit of honey. They collect nectar and make a little bit of honey. The worker bees, or the honeybees, because they last right through, they don't die off. They overwinter as a colony. They will need that all of winter. So it's for winter.
So it's for them?
It's for them, yeah.
So you extracting this honey?
So I'm an ethical beekeeper.
You're nice to them? What, you say, sorry, can I just have some of your honey?
We've kind of had a conversation about it. They know that I'm going to take a little bit, but leave them with some.
Who's in charge, though, the ratio?
Definitely me.
Because my opening question was going to be, is beekeeping cruel?
Then that's a really good question. Because
imagine locking you up in a wooden...
That they can leave if they want. I mean, they're just there. They want to stay there. There's nothing sort of caging them in.
Oh, so it's a choice.
It's a choice.
Okay. But then you end up milking them and getting their sweet juices. So you're nicking their food.
Well, yeah,
we're nicking their food, basically.
Yeah, and I think that's where vegans they boycott honey and beekeepers and things like that. So yeah, you do take the honey, yeah, absolutely do. But I leave behind quite a lot, and then I would leave frames that I would put back in the winter. So I do feed the honey back to the bees as well as take some. But I don't need, because I make cosmetics with all of my stuff, I don't sell honey in jars, so I don't need as much.
What, you just lop it in someone's hand? How'd you give...
Like you're a bear.
How'd you give people their honey?
I make soaps and creams and balms and skincare.
What, so you don't sell any honey?
No.
You just use it to make... What?
Yeah.
You don't sell honey?
No.
You make shit out of it?
I make shit out of it.
Hang on, talk to us about what you make out of this honey then.
So I have a business and a website and an app and a shop.
What's it called, please?
BeHavenBodyCare.co.uk. Behaving, because I'm misbehaving.
Misbehaving. And the products are...
So yeah, I make more than 200 different products, yeah.
Have you brought any in?
Yeah. So me and my daughter run the shop. It's me and my daughter. I make everything and she does all of the other stuff.
All from honey?
Yeah. So I put you in some beeswax so you could see that. We will talk about that.
What do we do with beeswax? Do we make candles?
That
We make
smells
candles
so nice.
and...
Sniff of that.
Where do we see?
Oh my God, that's lovely. Can I eat that?
You can chew it if you want. So that...
Well, hang on. What's beeswax?
Beeswax is a wax that's secreted from the bee's gland. So it's made up. So they use it for building. Basically, it's a building material. We don't have anything that would match it to compare it to.
But it's not going to be sweat, is it? Because sweat's...
It's probably like toe jam or something.
Just put in that.
Toe jam? Beeswax is toe jam.
Well,
Still eat it?
I eat my toe jam, so I might as well eat the bee's toe jam.
Or maybe like a toenail. I don't know. It's like a thing that's secreted from their body that they
It's a
use.
secretion.
It's a secretion. I actually bought this for you because I thought that you might have aches and pains.
What have we got here? It's a little jar.
So that's a magnesium beeswax balm, and that's beeswax and honey and Guinness soap and body
Look, smell of this jar. So that smells amazing. Can we apply some of this balm now?
You can, just don't put it on your eyes.
Where can I put it?
Guys,
Yeah.
whilst you two have been doing that, I've eaten
You've been eating,
beeswax.
you have. I wonder what you were chewing on.
Any good? Oh, it's coming out.
Yeah.
It doesn't taste of anything.
No. So there's probably lots of bee crap in that as well because
You just introduced that now, Emma.
I filtered that, but I didn't like second filter it, so there's probably bee shit and things in it. But I'll be fine.
Yeah,
There you
but
go.
that's good for your immunity.
It is, yeah, good bacteria.
It could be good, actually. You could make that like a weird chewing gum, actually. Anyway, sorry. What's this? The balm?
So that's like a muscle balm.
Oh,
It smells fantastic.
So there's magnesium chloride in that as well, which is really good, and camphor, which is really, really good for like muscle soreness. And then we've got like my best-selling Be Beautiful face cream. We sell tons of that. The reason I started a cosmetics business was because I had really bad acne. I had acne from 11 until a couple of years ago, and I had been a beekeeper for about 5 years. I decided that, because I tried everything, that I would like put some beeswax and honey on my zits basically. And I made this, it's actually the Beekeeper's Intense Skin Balm. So I made that, and then it cleared my spots in a week. So I started a business out of it, yeah.
let's talk about your get-up.
Oh.
Because what the fuck do you wear when you're keeping your bees? Talk us through the uniform.
Yeah, so there's the bee suit that you'll be familiar with, like sort of like a boiler suit with the big hood, the veil.
Like from E.T.?
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
so there's that, but like they're not, well, my one isn't anyway. Most of the ones that people wear aren't like sting proof, so you still get stung. So if the bees want to sting you and you're not wearing protective clothes underneath your suit, you still get stung. I get stung
What's
all
the
the
point in the suit?
I don't know.
If it's not a sting...
I know.
It's not even a suit of armour that doesn't stop a sword.
Yeah. So the veil will definitely stop stings to the face as long as you've got it zipped up, which I didn't have once, and I got like a really bad.
Bee got in.
Oh, hundreds.
Where have you,
Hundreds of bees
Yeah.
under your lid.
What, and you got stung loads?
Yeah,
Where's
yeah.
the worst place you've been stung?
Oh, probably the eyelid has been the worst bit.
Tom, have you been stung by a bee?
Yes. It always surprises me how much it hurts.
It is sore.
You're like, ow, that really hurts.
Yeah.
Why do bees sting you? If
Bee-
they're meant to be the friendly ones, why are they stinging us?
Because they think that you're like a danger to them. So bees are funny because, well, honeybees, like they don't like, so if you go to the hive, they don't like the colour black. So you couldn't wear like a black bee suit. They would just come out and just like punch you in the side of the head. They say that it like looks like so the pupils of an animal that's going to attack their hive.
Like a giant
Yeah.
pupil.
I thought
Yeah,
it'd
like
be the other way
jackpot.
round. Like if I've got like really colourful clothing on, that would attract them, but not.
So you're thinking if you actually should be wearing a yellow and black striped outfit, and they're going to either think one of us,
Yeah.
or it could be the other thing where they think, it's the size of that bastard.
No, or like if I wore a flower, if I wore
They'd come to you, wouldn't
They'll
they?
come
Yeah.
to you.
Oh, they
do-
would come to.
Yeah,
but I
they-
don't want that. What do I wear to make them not come to me?
You can't stop it.
Oh, right, okay. Is it true that if I clap, they don't come near me?
I don't think so.
I heard
I've
that.
never heard that
I
before in
heard
my
that it
life.
vibrates the air, and they go, "Fuck that shit."
Not having this.
Not having any of that.
I don't know.
So if you get a bee like coming round your food and all that, like you just start clapping.
The other thing about the clapping though, Joe, is, right, maybe that would actually attract them, because I heard, Emma, the bees are amazing dancers.
They do. They have a waggle dance. That's how they communicate, through dance.
I thought they spoke to it, like they
Well-
buzzed each other.
And they touch as well. They touch and they communicate through that. Back to the forager bees. So whenever they go out, some of the forager bees will go out to specifically find patches of nectar and forage. And they will come back to the hive and they will tell the other bees what direction the patch of forage is, where it is in relativity to the sun. So they'll say like fly 90 degrees to the sun and fly for 3 miles, and it will look a certain way, and they do all that through waggling their bodies and running around. So they'll come into the hive. The whole waggle dance has been translated, so they know what it means, but they'll be on the frame if the frame was flat, and the bee will come in and she will run for a certain length of time, and then she will dance a certain way and waggle a certain way and repeat that. And that then tells the other forager bees exactly where the patch of nectar is that she's been to.
So through the medium of dance,
Yeah.
they can give complicated directional instructions.
Yeah.
Right, Joe, what would your dance be if...
It's bollocks. Not happening.
Yep.
Work.
Right, Tom. What would your dance be? I knew exactly where you were going. Go on.
How complicated a set of directions could you dance? Like, to get from the studio where we are today to the
Yeah.
tube station.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've got to come out of the studio.
You got to turn right.
Take the first right. Why don't you do something the right side of your body? Like you're indicating right, like a boosh, boosh, boosh.
Have bees got arms?
They've got like multiple legs. I suppose you could call like.
Well, how many
you could
legs?
Say, I think they've got 6.
6.
Okay. Why are you shaking your head?
It's the waggle dance.
Okay.
Right. What else do you want to know?
Sounds a bit like you're doing a David Bowie impression. Certain lines.
Right.
Go straight on.
And then I don't know how to get to the tube station. I got a taxi here.
Did you?
Yeah.
So you could call an Uber through the medium of dance.
But also bees don't need to
Call Uber.
bees don't need to like do that. They kind of just go straight, and, like as the crow flies, I suppose.
Why does a bee have to die when it stings you?
Well, that's a really good question because not all bees do die whenever they sting you. Only honeybees die whenever they sting you.
Ah.
I think it's part of the whole evolution thing that I really don't understand because bumblebees and wasps don't. And the reason that honeybees do die whenever they sting you is that they have like a barbed stinger. So it's like a sword shape at the bottom. So whenever it goes into the skin and the bee flies away, it pulls their digestive tract out of their arsehole, basically.
Like a prolapse.
Yeah, like a massive prolapse.
Trying to keep very serious here. You fucking talking about prolapsing bees.
You've lifted a lot of heavy weights in your time. You've done a lot of squats. Don't tell me that you don't fear the prolapse.
I fear the prolapse, but I've had a really good thing. I've never had a pile, never had a prolapse.
Okay.
Something I'm proud of.
Okay.
But I don't judge you if you've had either.
So the death thing, is that not a flaw in evolution? Because what is the point in the bee stinging someone if it's only going to lead to its own demise?
It's definitely a flaw. So like every time that I get stung, it's sore, but I do get like slightly sad because sometimes the honeybees don't sting you deep enough for it to pull out. It can pull out clean. And in the odd occasion, it doesn't kill the honeybee, but mostly it does. So it's definitely a flaw in the evolution because, you know, if the colony is defending off, say, a couple of different wasps or whatever, they won't die in that instance, but whenever it comes to the beekeeper or human skin, it will.
I don't think I've ever been stung.
What?
No, I've been loads of nettles, but I've never done. I don't think I've been stung by a wasp or a bee.
Really?
Is it sore?
It's really sore, Emma, isn't it?
Does it hurt?
Yeah, it does. So the worst one I ever got was I was at an event and I had like an observation hive. So it's a glass-fronted hive that holds a few frames. So we'd been at the event for a few hours and I had the couple of frames had been in this observation hive. So the bees were a bit pissed off because it was a warm day and they were getting a bit angry. And I was putting them back into their normal hive. So I had my suit on, but like quite often, because my dad does the beekeeping with me as well, quite often we're like the Chuckle Brothers, like we're not like suited up properly, we're not zipped in, that kind of thing. Anyway, I didn't have my hood zipped around the neck and I shook the frame and the bees just went into my hood. Yeah, and there was just so many. So the whole hood was filled with bees and I took my hood off, but like they were stuck in my hair and they were stinging my face. I was just like, we were laughing, it was quite funny. And then whenever all of the bees stopped, either they died because they'd stung me or Dad had squished them. And then my head started to swell. So, and I didn't really notice it so much at the time because whenever you're doing that, you can't just go, right, I'm going home now, I've had enough. We had to go back and fix what we were doing. And it wasn't until the next morning that I woke up and I didn't notice it at the time. But whenever I looked in the mirror, my face was twice the size and my eyes were on like the side of my head and my bridge of my nose had almost disappeared. I looked like an avatar. It was ridiculous.
Gonna say Avatar.
How cool is it to be an avatar? I'd love to be an avatar.
This episode is sponsored by the following absolutely marvellous people. Running up that road, I've been running up that gill. It's AJ Gill. Get rich to Lacey or die trying. The Robber. Dale Briggs. Cat East Hopes and Dreams. Under the Sea, it's Sebastian Schlofsky. Things can only get better. Yes, it's Josh Becker. Double Denim, Sally Wenham. John Sumo, Sheldrake. The Windy Rhino and Matthew Fairs. The Ian Miller Band. Ice a Ticket, Tommy Pickett. And Elementary Watson, it's Jack Holmes. To be more like all of them, go to patreon.com/things people do. Become an official sponsor, get bonus content, and grow the show today.
So you've got all these products which look fantastic, and thank you for. Are these definitely
Yeah.
me and Tom to keep? My wife would actually
There's
love
a whole,
to keep.
there's a whole.
But have you got actual honey?
Yes.
And is that raw? When you say
This
raw
is raw.
honey, why is it raw? Because it's not cooked.
Yeah, because it's been extracted without heat.
What then makes it unraw? So the Rouse honey, for example, that I put on my toast, what's that? Is that not honey?
Well, I don't know about rice specifically.
Okay. Sorry.
But
The
in
honey that I
general,
put on my
yeah,
toast.
like the cheap honey.
Yeah.
It's like they say, and there's been lots of documentaries done about it. So I'm only taking the information from there, but it's come from many different countries, and on that journey, it's then sort of watered down with cheap syrups. Quite a lot of honey now will be filled with high fructose corn syrup, so basically what marshmallows are made from. Also, large companies that do that produce honey in volume, cheap honey in volume. Quite often those bees that it's come from, they'll not go out and forage for the nectar. They're just kind of fed cheap
A
syrup.
battery bee.
So yeah, it's like a battery bee. So they will be fed the cheap syrup, and they will dehydrate the cheap syrup, and then that cheap dehydrated syrup will be cut with other cheap syrup. So that's how you get a £2.20.
That's the honey that I have in my porridge. And
That's what I mean
yeah.
now. It's not honey.
No.
And you're fucking fueling the corporation. We should feel bad about this. Genuinely now.
I feel
We've
terrible.
got to stop doing this.
But
Can
you
we
can.
try
got a
some?
pot
So
each of
this is
raw honey.
exclusive because nobody else has got my honey.
Honestly, I'm
What do
so
you mean?
excited about this.
Oh, because you don't sell it.
No, I don't sell it. No.
Okay.
So that's why it's not in
So
labelled jars.
we've got a pot each here.
Yeah.
Unscrew the lid, Joe. Give me a sniff.
And this will be wildflower honey, so it's for the summer.
This is so good. Thoughts, Joe, as you know.
Oh my God,
approaches.
that is strong. I don't want to sound stupid,
That smells amazing.
but it smells like honey.
Yeah. It's
It's honey.
Like it smells like honey.
Oh, it
Do you know-
smells amazing.
Do you know what I mean?
I do know what you mean. It's like everything that your brain wants of honey.
It smells like honey. It doesn't smell like that watered down shit that I spread on the toast or put in my porridge.
Are you going to have a spoon of it? I am.
yeah.
I was just going to nick it, actually. But
Are you going to do a full spoon or are you going to dip?
no, I've got bad teeth, so I might as well just keep having bad teeth by doing loads.
Right, so you've got a decent spoonful. It's under the nose. It's in the mouth.
Fucking hell.
And honey's filled with good bacteria, so it's really, really good for your gut.
Is it?
A lot of people, what I find a lot of people do with their honey whenever they're taking it for sore throats or coughs or colds, they put it into hot water and that ruins the good bacteria. Yeah.
Really?
That's what
Try not to do
That's
that.
what I do. I make a...
So nice.
I feel one coming as well.
It's got a long,
Oh my God,
fantastic
it's so good.
aftertaste.
But it's
Yeah.
so
Honey.
rich.
Yeah.
And I want to eat the whole thing, but I also know that's
know,
really
it's not
bad for
gonna-
me.
yeah.
Oh my
That's
God.
so nice.
Oh God, it's on my fingers.
And if you've got any wounds or whatever, if you can just put a little bit of that on, and that's what they've used for years to
Really?
to dry out infections.
Could we communicate with bees one day? Because they strike me, you've spoken so eloquently and detailed about the bees and the structure of the bee world. And we've all agreed that they're intelligent as fuck, aren't they?
Big time.
So what's to stop them one day being able to communicate with us? They can communicate fucking dancing. Do you know what I mean? I'd like to be able to speak to bees one day.
I would like to be able to speak to bees too.
Do you not feel like you
I
can?
just think we're so stupid in comparison.
Yeah,
I don't think we'd be talking the same language. We're just stupid. We'd ruin it anyway, wouldn't we?
You're right.
What would you
They
say?
will-
What's the first thing you'd say to a bee, Emma, if you discovered the ability to communicate with them?
Can you please stop stinging me?
It's fair. Yeah.
Honeybees never sleep. True or false?
Oh God. Well, I think they do sleep.
Well, according to my fact sheet, they
Right.
don't. My fact sheet says honeybees never sleep. So
Can we
that
just-
8 hours sleep, what?
No, because bumblebees sleep. Because you see little drone bees sleeping inside flowers.
Can we stop calling it a fact sheet just because you've
Yeah.
written the word facts?
Bee
facts,
facts.
in your own handwriting.
Honeybees never sleep. So that 8 hours minimum sleep is bollocks. We're just soft as humans, I mean. Bees are tougher than humans.
Bees are definitely tougher.
They could just keep
Definitely.
going. And a queen bee's royal duty is to lay 1,500 eggs a day.
Yeah.
She must be exhausted.
You're just reading your fact sheet. They're no longer
true.
questions.
Yeah.
Emma, I've just been, like Tom said, I could sit here and ask you a million more questions. It's been fascinating, fucking weird at times, actually.
It's been a journey.
It's also, yeah, it has been a hell of a journey. I can't believe that dead. She's not dead because she was never alive. technically.
No, she didn't like.
Okay, I feel okay about that now. I would like you, mainly for me, can you tell me your socials, where I can find, where the listeners can find, where we can all find your products, please?
So socials are Misbehavin123 on TikTok, Instagram and Facebook.
Yeah.
The products are available from Behaven Body Care, BEEHAVEN, bodycare.co.uk, and there's also an app that you can download in the App Store called Behaven Body Care.
Oh my God.
And if you live in Northern Ireland, you can call to our shop in Ballygowan, where you'll meet me and my daughter.
Ballygowan?
Ballygowan.
Oh, Ballygowan.
Ballygowan. Guy.
Ballygar.
Guy.
Go.
Yes.
Ballygowan.
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 That's it.
You gone Welsh?
Yay.
Sit down. Fucking Miss fella, and you just tell me sit down all the bloody time.
Time.
It's close.
Emma, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been great.
Feels to me, Joe, like exactly the sort of episode that we should start 2024 with. Insight, fascination, minds blown.
Bit of fun.
A little bit of fun as well, and some free stuff, which was nice.
Oh.
New year, any resolutions?
New year, new me.
That's not true, is it?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't believe in that bollocks. Well, that's not true. That's a really shit answer to give you off the bat. I do believe in setting goals and looking to grow and develop as a person. I just don't buy into it needs to be done before January 1st and you do it in the whole year. Do you know what I mean? It's an ongoing thing for me that I'm looking to try and grow and develop throughout the year. So no, I'm not going to do any fucking New Year's resolutions. What about you?
Okay. I find myself looking into 2024 less about resolutions, Joe, more about things I'd really like to do. I definitely think we should go to a festival this year. Like if we can make it so we can do a pod at the festival, go along fundamentally and park up somewhere really nice in a really nice camper van.
Yeah.
That's a big yes for me in 2024.
Right, let's strive for that then. Let's work our little honey buns off. See what I've done there?
I like it a lot.
Like I've tied it in with the episode.
Well, Joe, we actually have, of course, our own sort of mini micro once a month festival because we are now recording live podcasts every month at the Clapham Grand this year. You know the drill. We're going to be performing Things People Did, where we'll be speaking to comedians and celebrities about all the weird and fun jobs they used to do before they were famous. Our first show of the year is only weeks away. It's on the 16th of January. Our guests, get this, comedians Mike Bubbins and Jem Brister. Excited? Pumped?
I'm bubblings away. I'm
Bubbling.
I'm buzzing for this. The first show with Joe Wilkinson and Lloyd Griffith went down a proper storm. Loved it. Everyone loved it. It was great fun. I can't wait to go again.
Because January can be a little bit shit, can't it, Joe? So get this. Tickets, a mere £15 and the mysterious 5 pence. That will cheer anyone up. The link to purchase is in the episode description.
Goodbye.
Goodbye to you.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Bye for now.
Ta-ra.
Crowd Network, a place where you belong.
I love this. It's a quirky but totally charming podcast, and there is a real nice selection to listen to. I really like the one where the celebrity stylist spills the tea about red carpet meltdowns. I mean, great. Behind the scenes gossip, we love it. Things People Do is a crowd production and I heartily endorse it. Once you've followed it on your phone, don't forget to do the same for this show so you can find your next podcast. All my recommendations from the whole series will also be on Podcast Rex at www.podcastrex.com. That is www.podcastrex.com.